Hello there. Welcome to Speaking of Business. I'm your host, Nancy Boyle. It's a new year. The economy is growing. Things are looking good. So today we're going to be talking about those programs and services that can help you whether you want to start a business or whether you have an existing business. Joining me on the first half of the show is Paul Arrington. Paul's a certified business analyst at the Small Business Development Center at the University of North Florida. So welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for having me here.
You're certainly welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
All right, let's talk SBDC. Tell us about what does the SBDC do? Okay,
the Small Business Development Center at UNF, University of North Florida, has been in existence for over 35 years now. And basically, regardless of whether somebody wants to start a business, whether somebody wants to buy a business, grow their existing business, or for that matter, even if they want to sell the business or develop, an exit strategy, or if they're looking for financing, we are there to provide assistance to them. I mean, we serve small businesses in 18 counties. Okay. in Northeast Florida, the North Central Florida. We have our main office at the University of North Florida. We have 7 certified business analysts that are associated with that office. In addition, we have offices in St. Johns County. We have an office in Ocala. We have an office in Gainesville and also in Citrus County. And in Duval County, we also do what we call circuit rides, which means that there are various other entities that provide us with the space to provide counseling at their locations. And we do that also in Fernandina and then also in Clay County and in Palatka as well.
Excellent. Yeah. So what are some of the programs or services that the SBDC offers? Okay.
Well, we provide free one-on-one counseling for small business owners and also managers of small businesses. I mean, and you can imagine that there may be any number of issues that they might want to seek counseling on. So it may well be that they're looking at development of a business plan or refining their business plan, especially now that it appears as if the economy may be turning around somewhat, and planning for new and additional growth. So, looking at that old business plan, trying to polish it up. Understanding your financials, that's always a very important one. So we can provide assistance in that regard as well. Or now might be a good time to develop a new marketing strategy. So we provide assistance in that regard as well. All those are various areas that we can provide counseling assistance in. We also have some of our certified business analysts who have specific specialties. So we have a couple that specialize, among other things, in disaster preparedness. We have a certified business analyst that specializes in assisting nonprofits. We have one who provides assistance in government contracting. We have the Small Business Resource Network that we utilize a lot as well. So we have a lot of things when it comes to counseling, and then we also provide a number of workshops also. Especially for business, for people who are interested in going into business, we have a whole startup series on how to start up your business, which covers a number of things, including, from the very basic things such as, well, how do I go about getting my business tax receipt, to really, what are the things that make up an entrepreneur? What are the things that you need to consider before you go into business? Is your lifestyle compatible with the type of business you want to go into? And then we also have workshops such as, business plan basics, marketing 101, tax issues, a whole array of workshops that pertain to how to do business with government, and then specialized workshops as well. So we offer a lot of things.
Yes, you do. Now let's kind of, I know your expertise obviously is counseling with clients.
Right.
So let's focus a little bit in on what you're experiencing now with your clients, because we've had probably a 2-year period here of panic on the part of some folks. Panic that's led to some positive outcomes, certainly for other folks who have sat back and said, okay, I'm having some challenges with the economic situation. Let me look at my business. Let me get focused in on how I can maintain my business or even grow my business. So now we're seeing the economy is starting to pick up again. So what are you experiencing with your clients in kind of some, I don't know, new direction, or you know, what are some of the things you're experiencing with your clients? I guess we'll leave it fairly general there.
A lot of clients are looking at revamping their marketing strategies. Some have found through market research, which we provide assistance in developing as well, have found through market research and just their practical experience that their client base has shifted over time. I mean, especially with changes in technology as well.
Sure.
It may well be that they had a certain client segment that they were marketing to at one point. Now there's a possibility of other products or services that might be more electronic based or whatever that they're looking at. They're finding and they're finding that they're getting higher profit margins or potential higher profit margins in moving in those directions. Looking at their numbers very carefully.
Yes,
I mean,
would think so.
That's something that a number of businesses, the ones who really made it through the hard times, were the ones that looked the closest at their numbers. But even now, it's important to look close at the numbers as well, because the lessons that were learned during the hard times are the lessons that you want to continue to hold on to during the better times. Everyone learned to do things in a more lean manner. Don't get hoggish now, because the more that you could continue to operate in a lean and continue to be more competitive, the better it is for your business. So I'm seeing a number of people looking at other more innovative ways, new types of customers, how to continue to stay lean, understanding their financials, and really just trying and also beginning to see clients now that are looking at hiring again. So so that, I mean, it sounds strange now.
Yes, I know.
But now may be the time to begin considering that when it makes sense and when it can add to your bottom line.
I think the interesting thing about when times get tough is it forces you to get creative, because I've noticed that there were businesses who in the past would not have thought about going international with their product or service, and who would not have thought to do business with government entities.
That's right.
That all of a sudden said, I think I need to rethink this. And I know the SBDC is currently in the process of an international certificate program.
That's correct.
Which I think is either an annual or a twice-a-year kind of thing.
That's correct.
And but let's talk about the government procurement, because I know that's one of your areas of expertise. Let's say we've got a business owner that's sitting out there in the audience watching this show, who has said, that sounds like a good idea. So why don't you talk a little bit about the Procurement Technical Assistance Center and how somebody who has maybe not really done business with the government, what those services are that can enable them then to become a vendor for various government entities.
Okay. Well, I think that the Procurement Technical Assistance Center is really a unique and valuable part of what we do. Yeah. And one of the key reasons why it's important and valuable is because anybody who's interested in doing business with government. In fact, I had a client that I was speaking with this morning where they went on the internet. They found some service, they thought they'd pursue that because it looked like it was the way to start doing business with government. There are so many things out there on the internet that you need to meet with somebody where you can be guided through what the real deal is. And most of the real things are at little or no cost. Just doing your basic registrations with government where you need to go, virtually all the time, that's at no cost. Unless you go through some provider who's not going to do any more than what our PTAC counselor, Lisa Haggerty, with our office can guide you through. So, identifying what is real as opposed to things that you're wasting your time or money on. And then doing those initial registrations, getting your initial certifications, but then utilizing our PTAC program to go beyond that. To really learn how to identify those agencies that are specifically buying and historically have bought what it is that business is selling, so that business can then target that marketing to those particular agencies, getting to know who those people are in the agency, getting their marketing materials to those agencies, learning how to develop those marketing materials so that it makes sense to the government, as opposed to your general marketing materials, because there is a difference.
Yeah.
And then, even after you get that contract, which we know that you will, because you're doing things right.
Right.
Once you get that contract, well, then our PTAC counselor can also provide assistance in maintaining that contract, making sure that you continue to develop that relationship and stay on target in actually performing that contract as well.
Okay. And before we run out of time here, I want to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming workshops.
Okay.
What's coming up that you in the audience might want to go to?
We have quite a few things that are coming up just within the next month, actually. We have QuickBooks for nonprofits, which is going to be offered January 27th. We have a general QuickBooks class that's going to be on February 3rd. Where's the Money? On February 8th. Government Contracting 101 on February 9th. Nonprofit Startups is going to be on February 15th. Marketing the Government on February 16th. The Entrepreneurs Law School on February 17th, which is going to be a great event. There's going to be a number of issues that are going to be taught there, including employment HR rights and non-compete agreements, surviving the recession, joint venturing, how to negotiate a commercial lease, which we hear issues like that about that all the time. Immigration, what you don't know can hurt you, and protecting intellectual property. Again, another area that is really a hot issue in which people really underestimate what they do need to protect in their business. Then we have the Steps to Starting a Business webinar, which we're starting to use webinars to reach people interested in our workshops, particularly in outlying areas. On February 18th, a GSA workshop on February 23rd, a Start Up Your Business workshop on February 24th, and It's Her Business, which you're going to hear more about, on March 4th.
Well, that sounds like quite a full plate.
Yes.
So you in the audience, if you've got a business, there's lots of stuff there. If you want to start a business, there's lots of stuff there. So, Paul, what's the website that people can get more information from?
You can go to www.sbdc.unf.edu.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining me today. You in the audience, stay tuned because we've got another great program we're going to talk about when we come back from break. If you'd like more information about today's show, or you have a topic you'd like us to discuss, please write to Speaking of Business, care of SBDC, 12,000 Alumni Drive, Jacksonville, Florida, 32224, or visit our website at www.sbdc.unf.edu. Welcome back to Speaking of Business. In our second half, we've got a really exciting program to talk about. If you have a daughter, a teenage daughter, or you know someone, a teenage girl, who is interested in someday maybe starting her business, this is the program for you. Joining me today are Jeannie Coussin with Regions Bank, Rhodesia Butler with Simply Row Enterprises, and Jessica Thomas with Advantage Magazine. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
So what I'm going to do is kind of go right down the row here, and let's talk a little bit about what each of you do, and then we'll get into the program, okay? So, Jeannie, tell us what you do at Regions.
Absolutely. I'm a branch manager and a small business specialist with Regions Bank, and I got involved about 4 years ago on the planning committee when Regions was a sponsor of the event, and I just fell in love with the program, and I've been working on it ever since. I'm also on the board of the Professional Women's Council, and it just goes hand in hand that we work very closely together with the program now for the last few years in recruiting our mentors from a lot of our professional business women that are part of our council.
Okay, great. Ro, tell us about Simply Row Enterprises.
Well, Simply Row, I'm a serial business owner, and Simply Row Enterprises is actually my parent company,
okay,
which allows me to do events. Here in the community, I have a studio that's almost 20 years in the performing arts, so a variety of different things from business to performing arts. I'm also an educator at Ribault Senior High School, and I'm on my 3rd year with It's Her Business, and the two go hand in hand. I love it, and I'm glad to be back.
Okay, Jessica?
Well, upon graduating from UF, I started my own marketing consulting company. That was a little over a year ago. And not too shortly after that, I got snagged up by a local business magazine to help them with their current marketing and the marketing of our clients. So formal title is Director of Client Relations and also business owner. And I got involved with It's Her Business through PwC and WBO, which is the Women Business Owners of North Florida, and I'm hooked. This is my second year, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.
Okay, so let's get into the program. It's Her Business. So tell us about it. Jeannie, we'll start with you.
Sure. We are actually really excited because we've revamped the program this year, and we've renamed it, restamped it. It was formerly known as Girls Going Places, but now it's Her Business. And really, we're talking about taking the girls from backpacks to briefcases. We're hoping that we're going to foster the next business owners in this community, and it's teaching them everything from their budgeting and their financial savviness to their creativity. Great program called Product in a Box, where they're developing a product that they present to us from different bits and pieces, and I think it's one of the most creative, interesting pieces of the day.
You know, it's interesting because about, I want to say maybe it's been 4 or 5 years ago, I had to give a talk to a JCCI group, and so I was doing a lot of research on what segments of the market were growing, and by far the largest segment of the small business market that was growing at that time and continues to grow were women business owners. So to have a program like It's Her Business to acquaint young women, you know, when they're in high school, before they even get to college, with the idea of owning your own business, of making it okay to own your own business. I mean, that was so not in my realm of experience when I was in high school. So I just think it's a great program, and so it's interesting, the women helping women thing, and you know, the age ranges from young women on up to my generation. You know, I just think it's great. So, Ro, you've been involved for 3 years, so tell us about your experience with it.
I think it's been absolutely fabulous, and to piggyback on what you said, I agree that it takes the young ladies, gives them an ability to start at a young age, not wait until you get into college and you know, figure out what you want to do. It puts over 30 business owners from here in Jacksonville in front of the young ladies, coming from a diverse group of businesses, from retail to construction, dentistry, just whatever. And it gives the girls an immediate mentor that they can see. They can actually talk to us and allow us to pour back into them the stages and steps that they need to take to become successful business owners. I also like the fact that we are allowing them to be introduced to financial planning and budgeting here at this particular event. It's so crucial. It is, because you know, a lot of times it's not you know, healthy for them to wait until college, because you're already budgeting and you're already needing to have that strength prior to. So it's a way to teach them and give them some exposure.
I know, I just shudder. My granddaughter is 17 and a half, and you know, you can give her money and you can watch it disappear.
Right.
You know, because she has no clue about budgeting, and you know, the end of the week or the end of the month comes and she has no gas money. It's like, hello, you need to plan it out, but it's very instant. I got the money, I'm spending it now. So I just think that is so valuable.
Yeah.
So valuable. So Jessica, you are a speaker this year, correct?
I am. Last year I came on as a mentor, and really my motivation was we have so many fabulous resources here in Jacksonville for small business owners, and specifically women small business owners. So I wanted to let these girls know that we were there for them and that we could be there for them even after that day of mentoring. But this year, yes, they asked me to come in as a speaker. Apparently the girls were really excited about, you know, seeing someone that was just out of college that had started their own business, and really, you know, they were who inspired me. I thought, gosh, I'm behind the bell curve. I waited till after college, and here they are in high school ready to get going. So.
Well, and Jeannie, you've been involved since, I think, pretty much the beginning, correct?
4 years. It's been around the 6 years of the program now.
Okay. So what's been your experience over time with some of the girls? Do some of them come back again?
We've asked this year that if they've participated in the past, that they allow for someone else in their school to be able to come. We've tried to cap it because it's open to 100 girls ages 15 to 18. and that covers all 3 counties. So,
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
we're really throwing the net out there, so we'd like to give an opportunity to as many young women as we can. Once they've gone through the program, we're hoping that they'll take that back and that they'll touch others with it. They have material that they'll take away with them as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the program itself. You talked about the product in the box, and there's also a game. Is that correct?
A hot
So
company.
you want to talk a little bit about the game, and maybe Jessica can talk about the product in the box?
Okay, the Hot Company game is dealing primarily with, it's a game that's going to allow them to work on the financial piece again. They play a game at the table with 6 girls to 2 mentors, and there are various questions dealing with finance and budgeting and so forth, allowing them to set up budgets, and then at the end of it, it shares their experience as far as how they've spent their money. So it's a new type game for us this year, but it still deals with finance. The only other one piece I want to do say in reference to the finance is that it's funny how the girls would pick this big house, I want a 5-bedroom home, a Porsche, and all of these grand ideas in the beginning. But after they see and compare the prices as to what it costs, you find at the end of the game, you'd have them saying, oh, I don't think I'm going to have cable. You know, I think I'll just use my cell phone. We'll cut back, and a Toyota's fine. You know, so it's just funny how their perspectives change during the game from, you know, one level to, I'm spending my own money, so I think I'm going to tailor that a little bit.
Well, and which is good because, and Jeannie, you probably as a banker can probably relate to this. The I don't know who it was, but I remember somebody. We were having this conversation, and it was with a young person, and it's like, well, I have checks in my checkbook. You know, well, just because there are checks in your checkbook doesn't mean there's money in the bank for you to spend.
Exactly.
You know? So I think that's great.
Yeah.
So, Jessica, why don't you tell us about Product in a Box? Because I know you mentored them last year with
I
us.
did. Product in a Box is a really fun project, and I like it personally just because of my advertising and marketing background. Pretty much what it is you get this box of literally just the most random odds and ends, and the girls get, I think it's about a half hour to just compile them together to work as a team. The mentors take a very hands-off approach, which is nice because we're really just watching their creative juices flow. And we're there if they have any questions about kind of the rules of the game, but then they go and present it, and it's just it's fabulous to watch them get so creative and just not be limited by the boundaries that we're necessarily aware of. They're just purely creative and product development at its best, really.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. And you have a CD, and then you have a paper clip, and then you have all these little dribs and drabs, and the things that they build with these odds
and you're so
ends.
proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've spent the whole day with them, and they're they're your little mentees at that point, and they're fabulous.
Well, I want to go back to you because you're the educator, okay? So you're seeing what's going on in the school system with the young women, and having been involved for 3 years and had students who have, you kind of watched over the 3 years. What have you been seeing with that?
It has been a huge inspiration. I actually went to a meeting over at another high school. I was at Jackson High School the other day, and the young lady ran up to me in the hall and said, Miss Butler, I met you at Girls Going Places, which the former name. And she went on to talk about how she's working on her cupcake business. She met a mentor that was one of the ladies with us that had a cupcake shop, and she said she's been selling her cupcakes on a small scale to family and friends, and that's just what the program is so about. And when I announced it at my high school at Ribault, I put it over the PA system. I had girls come, I had to turn them down, coming, wanting to know, it's her business, what does that mean? And so I think it is, I hope that we can get more students, like Jeannie said, to go back, and the facilitators and educators to continue the process within our schools and not just let it be a one-day event here in Jacksonville.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see over time, because I know 100 girls has been kind of the magic number for the last 6 years now. And to be able to expand that as we're, 6 years later, the word's gotten about. Now, obviously, the girls that from the first year have either, certainly, hopefully, graduated high school and possibly graduated college, and maybe even like your young lady with the cupcakes started a business. And I remember going to a WBO meeting. That just reminded me of this. One of those awards presentations, there was a young lady there who had gone through the first year. And got up and talked about her business, and it was really cool. But anyway, getting back to, let's get the particulars about the event. When is it? Does it cost anything? How does somebody get involved, etc.?
Oh, sure. It's open, like we said, up to 100 girls. And what they've done in the past is gone through the guidance counselors at the schools.
Okay.
But anyone, if they want to direct a young girl, can direct them to the website at the UNF Small Business Development Center, and that's going to be www.sbdc.unf.edu. They can also call the office if they need to have an application faxed at 620-2476. And of course, if anyone knows any of the three of us, contact one of us directly and we'll be happy to help you with that. But as far as getting involved, it's a simple application, and we do still need 15 more mentors.
Okay,
So we're
I was
looking,
just going to ask you that question.
Yeah, we need 15 more women business owners as mentors, and we do ask that they are business owners as opposed to corporate America. And that's a one-page application as well. And we love to have a couple of extras and alternates always if someone wants to observe and maybe participate later too. But it's set for March 4th.
Okay.
That's a Friday.
And I would like to say, too, if they contact by email or number, we are always looking for sponsors. I know you asked what the cost was. It's free to the young ladies. Of course, although they don't pay, there are still costs that are a part of it.
Sure.
And we would love to have any sponsors that find what we've said today to be important or a passion to call and find out how they can get involved as a sponsor as well.
Okay, so it's March 4th, did you say?
March
Friday,
4th.
March 4th. What time to what time?
7:30 to 2.
7:30 to 2.
7:30 to 2, so they're going to get some bagels and they're going to get some lunch,
Breakfast
probably.
and lunch.
Breakfast,
They're going
lunch.
to get pizza for lunch, salad for those that are healthy,
Okay.
sodas. And we usually have a working session during lunch, so they're watching overhead projection, little tips and tidbits, and they have a chance then also to do some networking. And that's something else we've talked about too, is encouraging the networking at that young age and helping them to understand that the person they're talking to today could be the person that they're interviewing with or interviewing for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the wide variety of mentors is really important. I know in the past there have been some women who have owned what would be considered a non-traditional business for a woman to own. Perhaps a construction business.
Roofing company, HVAC, we've had a concrete person, and they've been fabulous because these are women that have gone in and a few of them have saved their husbands' companies and then taken over the companies.
Well, and I think it's important for these young girls to see a variety of programs.
Diversity.
You know, back when I was in school 100 years ago, you were going to be a nurse, a teacher, an airline hostess,
Or secretary.
or a secretary. That was it, you know. So anyway, so once again, let's the who, what, when, where.
It's going to be at UNF on March 4th. That's a Friday from 7:30 to 2. And they can access the applications through
www.sbdc.unf.edu or by calling 620-2476.
Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me today.
Thank you
you
for
in the
having us.
audience for joining us. And go to that website and get lots of good information. And then come back next time when we'll be speaking of business. Bye now.